The red dust of Mars swirled around Dr. Sarah Chen's boots as she knelt beside what should have been impossible. The artifact protruded from the ancient river like a metallic flower, its surface rippling with colors that shouldn't exist in nature. Her team had nicknamed it the Rainbow Thorn, but Sarah knew they were looking at something far more significant than a pretty piece of alien tech. "Dr. Chen, we've got more readings," called out Marcus Wong, their quantum physicist. He waved his scanner over the object, frowning at the results. "The energy signature. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The metal seems to be generating its own quantum field." Sarah pulled out her own instruments, custom-built for the Mars Anomaly Research Project. They'd found dozens of unusual objects over the past year, but this was different. The others had been dead, silent. This one sang. "Look at this pattern," she murmured, tracing the spiral etchings that decorated the artifact's surface. "It's not random. These are equations." Her augmented reality display highlighted the mathematical sequences, translating them into familiar notation. "They're describing star formation." Before Marcus could respond, the ground beneath them trembled. The artifact's surface began to pulse with increasing intensity, its color shifts accelerating until it blazed like a miniature aurora. Sarah's comlink crackled with urgent voices from base camp, but she couldn't tear her eyes away from what was happening. The rainbow thorn was growing. It extended upward, unfolding like origami in reverse, until it towered 3 meters above them. The mathematical patterns multiplied and shifted, now clearly visible as a complex network of interconnected formulae. And in the center, a doorway opened. "Base, are you seeing this?" Sarah's voice was steady despite her racing heart. Years of xenorchaeological training hadn't prepared her for anything like this. The reply came garbled through sudden interference. "Energy spike. Unknown. Get out of there." But Sarah Chen hadn't become the leading expert in her field by running away from discoveries. She took a careful step forward, her suit's sensors recording everything. The doorway seemed to lead nowhere and everywhere at once, its edges defined by that impossible metal that defied physics. That's when they heard it. A voice, not in their ears but in their minds, speaking in concepts rather than words. "The stars remember. The metal remembers. And now you must remember, for they are returning." From the doorway emerged a figure that seemed to be made of the same material as the artifact. It moved like liquid mercury, but held a humanoid shape, its surface reflecting the Martian sky in impossible ways. "I am the last keeper," it said, now in clear English, somehow translating its thoughts directly into their language. "And you are the ones we've been waiting for." Marcus stepped back, but Sarah moved closer, waiting for what? For those who can hear the songs of stars. For those who can shake the metal that remembers. We left these seeds across 1,000 worlds, waiting for a species that could awaken them. The figure's surface rippled. "Your kind has that potential. We see it in the way your minds reach out to touch the memory metal." Sarah realized she could feel it too. A subtle resonance between her thoughts and the strange material. It was like having a new sense she'd never known she was missing. "But why us? Why now?" she asked. The keeper's form began to lose coherence. "Because the void dancers have awakened. They consume light, life, thought itself. We fought them for millennia using the star metal, but we could not defeat them, only hold them back. Now they stir again, and we are gone. But you," the being's voice grew fainter, "you humans dream differently. You imagine what cannot be and then make it real. The metal responds to that." As the keeper spoke, images flooded their minds. Vast cities made of the same incredible material, spanning entire planets. Ships that sailed on solar winds, their hulls transmuting stellar energy into impossible geometries. And something dark moving between the stars, consuming everything in its path. "Learn quickly." The keeper's voice was barely a whisper now. "The equations are the key. The metal remembers how to fight them, but it needs minds that can imagine new ways to use it. You have 50 years before they reach your world. Make them count." With that, The figure collapsed into a pool of liquid metal that quickly hardened into a small sphere, a seed of the same material as the original artifact. Sarah picked it up, feeling it warm to her touch, responding to her thoughts. The comlink suddenly cleared, flooding with urgent messages from base camp. But Sarah barely heard them. She was already running calculations in her head, seeing how the mathematical patterns could be adapted, modified, improved. The metal in her hand hummed in response to her ideas. Humanity had just inherited both a miracle and a deadline. They would need every second of those 50 years. And somewhere in the dark between the stars, ancient hungers were stirring, moving once again toward the light of living suns. 3 months after the Mars discovery, the Quantum Materials Research Center in Geneva hummed with activity. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a wall of holographic displays, each showing different aspects of the star metal's bizarre properties. Behind her, suspended in a containment field, floated the seed left behind by the Keeper. "Run the simulation again," she told her expanded team. Marcus Wong nodded, initiating another quantum analysis of their latest attempt to synthesize the material. They'd failed 217 times so far. This would be attempt 218. "Energy pattern stable," reported Dr. Aisha Patel, their materials specialist. Her fingers danced across the control surface, adjusting quantum fields with microscopic precision. "Beginning atomic restructuring." The chamber in the center of the lab filled with a brilliant light as their experimental apparatus attempted to recreate the conditions they'd decoded from the Keeper's equations. They'd learned that star metal wasn't just a material, it was a state of matter that shouldn't exist, a quantum impossibility made real through mathematics they were only beginning to understand. "Wait," Sarah leaned forward, noticing something new in the data stream. The pattern. It's responding to Aisha's adjustments. The quantum field is synchronizing with her brain patterns. Marcus quickly confirmed her observation. She's right. The material's quantum state is entangling with Aisha's neural activity. That's never happened before. Aisha's eyes widened as she felt it. A subtle connection, like a new sense awakening. I can feel what it wants to become. The equations make sense now. They're not just mathematics, they're intentions. The experimental chamber pulsed with new energy as Aisha instinctively adjusted the fields, no longer following their carefully planned protocols, but working from pure intuition. The quantum readings spiraled into previously impossible configurations. And there, floating in the chamber, a small sphere of metal began to form. It shimmered with the same impossible colors as the Mars artifact, its surface rippling like liquid starlight. "We did it," Marcus whispered, then louder. "We actually did it." But Sarah was already moving to the next step. "Quick, before the quantum state destabilizes. Try to shape it, Aisha. Use the equations we decoded, but feel how they want to flow." Aisha nodded, closing her eyes in concentration. The small sphere of star metal began to change, stretching and flowing like mercury, but maintaining structural integrity that defied known physics. Under her guidance, it formed into a complex geometric shape that somehow felt right, felt natural, despite having more dimensions than should be possible in normal space. "The Keeper was right," Sarah said, watching in amazement. "The metal doesn't just respond to calculations. It responds to human consciousness, to our ability to imagine new possibilities." Their success was quickly followed by more breakthroughs. Other researchers showed varying degrees of ability to connect with the star metal, each bringing their own unique perspective to its manipulation. Some could shape it more easily into structural forms, others could better attune its energy-conducting properties, and a few showed remarkable skill at programming it with complex behavioral patterns. But it was Dr. James Chen, Sarah's brother and a quantum computing specialist, who made the next crucial discovery. Late one night, while everyone else had gone home, he realized something about the original equations. "Sarah." His excited voice pulled her from her office. "Look at this pattern in the Keeper's mathematics. It's not just about shaping the metal, it's a communications protocol." The siblings worked through the night, and by morning they had confirmed it. The star metal wasn't just a building material or a weapon. It was meant to be a bridge between conscious minds. When properly configured, it could transmit thoughts, memories, and even dreams across vast distances. This is how they coordinated their defense against the Void Dancers, Sarah realized. Their entire civilization was connected through the star metal network. But they still lost. James nodded grimly. Because they could only think like themselves. But humans, we think differently. We can imagine things that have never existed. The Keeper said we dream differently. The implications were staggering. If humanity could master this technology, combining it with their unique capacity for innovation and imagination, they might stand a chance against the coming darkness. But time was running out. 49 years, 8 months, and 15 days remained until the Void Dancers arrived. In orbit above Earth, the first experimental station built partially with star metal was taking shape. Its surfaces rippled with patterns of light as it responded to the thoughts and intentions of its human operators. It was tiny compared to the vast cities they'd seen in the Keeper's memories, but it was a start. Humanity had taken its first steps toward becoming the new architects of starlight. But as Sarah stared up at the night sky, she couldn't help but wonder, would they learn enough, fast enough, to survive what was coming? The star metal hummed in response to her worry, its song a reminder that humanity had always achieved the impossible when their backs were against the wall. They would need that determination more than ever in the years to come. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, humanity's furthest star metal outpost registered an anomaly. The quantum sensors, tied directly to the consciousness of its operators, detected something that shouldn't exist, a region of space where light behaved wrong. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, the station's chief observer, felt it first. The star metal infrastructure around her resonated with a deep unease, responding to both her conscious and unconscious reactions to what she was seeing. "Control, this is Outpost Sentinel," she transmitted through the quantum link, her thoughts carried instantly back to Earth through the star metal network. "We're detecting absence. It's like someone took a bite out of space itself." Back on Earth, in the newly constructed Starlight Command Center, Dr. Sarah Chen received Maya's transmission directly into her consciousness. After 5 years of working with the star metal, such communications had become second nature to trained operators. "Show me," Sarah thought back, and immediately her mind was filled with Maya's perspective. Through the quantum link, she could see what the lieutenant saw, a patch of space that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect or transmit it. The star metal sensors were registering patterns disturbingly similar to those shown in the Keeper's warning memories. "They're early," Sarah whispered aloud, drawing concerned looks from the command center staff. They weren't supposed to have appeared for another 44 years. Either the Keeper's timeline had been wrong, or something had accelerated the Void Dancer's approach. The next transmission didn't come through the star metal network. It arrived in a burst of conventional radio waves, encoded in a mathematical pattern that made the star metal resonate in recognition. "Children of Earth," the message began, automatically translating through patterns similar to those the Keeper had used. "We are the Lumini, and we bring morning. The darkness between stars grows hungry again." Within hours, ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, vessels of light and crystal, beautiful but clearly damaged. The Lumini were refugees, their own civilization nearly destroyed by the same force that now approached Earth. Sarah found herself in the first contact team, her experience with the star metal making her uniquely qualified to communicate with these new aliens. The Lumini ambassador, a being of crystalline light called Zar-N, met with them in orbit aboard humanity's first major star metal construction, Station Aurora. "Your progress with the memory metal is remarkable," Zar-N observed, their form shifting with colors that conveyed both admiration and concern. "We discovered similar artifacts, but could never achieve more than basic manipulations. Yet you sing to it, and it answers." "The Keeper said humans dream differently," Sarah explained. "We're still learning what that means." "The Keeper?" Zar-N's form, pulsed with surprise. You met one of the ancients. Briefly, they left us warnings and basic instructions for working with the star metal. The Lumini ambassador's next words sent chills through everyone present. Then you must understand, the Void Dancers aren't just coming. They're evolving. The darkness we fled, it's learned to think. Through the star metal network, Sarah shared the sensor logs from Outpost Sentinel. Zar N's crystalline form dimmed in recognition. Yes, they're hunting now. Hunting specifically for civilizations that use the memory metal. Our scientists theorize that they perceive it as a threat, the only thing that ever successfully resisted them. But there was something else, something the Lumine seemed hesitant to share. Sarah could feel the star metal around them responding to their visitors' unease. "Tell us," she prompted. We believe they're following us. Our flight path may have led them to your world sooner than their natural approach would have reached you. We are sorry." Instead of the anger or rejection the Lumini clearly feared, Sarah responded with determination. "Then we'll face them together. Show us everything you know about how they fight, how they think. We've got something they've never faced before, human creativity combined with star metal technology." Over the next weeks, more refugees arrived, species neither humanity nor the Lumini had encountered before, all fleeing the expanding darkness. Each brought their own knowledge, their own experiences with the Void Dancers. Station Aurora became a hub of interspecies cooperation, its star metal architecture adapting to accommodate the needs of diverse alien physiologies. Humanity's quantum engineers worked alongside Lumini energy specialists and other alien scientists, each contributing their unique perspectives to understanding both the star metal and their common enemy. But it was a young human architect, Kai Patel, who made the breakthrough that would change everything. Working with the station's star metal systems, she discovered that human dreams, literal dreams, occurring during sleep, could imprint new patterns into the material's quantum structure. The metal doesn't just respond to conscious thought, she explained to Sarah and the assembled alien scientists. It resonates with our unconscious mind, our ability to imagine impossible things in dreams. What if that's what the Keeper meant about humans dreaming differently? What if our greatest strength isn't our waking creativity, but our ability to dream beyond the bounds of reality? As if in response to her words, the star metal walls of Station Aurora began to pulse with new patterns, reflecting the combined dreams and aspirations of every conscious being aboard. Human imagination, alien knowledge, and the ancient power of the star metal were combining in ways the original Keepers had never envisioned. They had 44 years less than they planned for, but humanity was not alone. And perhaps, Sarah thought as she watched humans and aliens working together under Aurora's shimmering ceiling, that was exactly what they needed. Not just human dreams, but the combined dreams of multiple species, each contributing their own unique way of seeing the universe. The Void Dancers were hunting them, yes, but they were about to discover that their prey had learned some new tricks. The void between Pluto and Neptune rippled like dark water. Through Station Aurora's quantum sensors, Sarah Chen watched as space itself seemed to fold inward, creating patterns that hurt to look at. The Void Dancers had arrived. All stations, battle positions. Commander Elena Torres's voice resonated through the star metal network, reaching every human and alien defender simultaneously. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Humanity's first line of defense wasn't traditional weapons. It was dreams. Over the past months, they had discovered that the star metal could store and amplify the creative energy of human dreams, transforming abstract imagination into reality. Now, hundreds of dream engineers lay in specially designed chambers throughout the solar system, their sleeping minds connected directly to the star metal network. First wave approaching, reported Maya Rodriguez from Outpost Sentinel. They're different from the records, more structured. Through the quantum link, Sarah saw what Maya meant. The Void Dancers weren't just masses of darkness anymore. They had evolved, developed patterns that mimicked the very civilizations they had consumed. She could see echoes of Lumini crystal ships and other alien architectures in their forms. They learn, Tsar and observed, their crystalline form dimming. They absorb not just matter and energy, but patterns, technologies, ideas. But humanity had been preparing for this moment. As the first wave of void dancers approached the defense line, the Dream Engineers' collective unconscious surged through the star metal network. The material responded, transforming in ways that defied physics and reason. Station Aurora's outer hull flowered into impossible geometries, each facet reflecting not light, but pure human imagination. Similar transformations rippled through the defense platforms and ships that humanity had built, their forms shifting to match the dream logic of their creators. The void dancers struck like a tide of living darkness, attempting to consume and corrupt everything in their path. But where they met star metal infused with human dreams, they found something they couldn't easily absorb or understand. "Look at the pattern fluctuations," Kai Patel called out from her station. They try to learn and adapt to each dream configuration, but by the time they do, we're already shifting to new ones. They can't predict what we'll imagine next. It was working better than they'd hoped. The void dancers could absorb and replicate any rational technology or pattern they encountered, but human dreams followed no rational rules. Every time the entities thought they'd understood and adapted to one dream pattern, the sleeping engineers would shift to another, their unconscious minds spinning out new impossibilities faster than the void dancers could analyze them. But the enemy was far from defeated. As the battle raged, the void dancers began to show signs of adaptation, attempting to pierce the dream shields with increasingly sophisticated attacks. "They're trying to access the dream network directly," Sarah realized with growing alarm. "If they get in..." She didn't need to finish the thought. If the void dancers gained access to the human dreamscape, they could corrupt it from within. Everything they'd built would be turned against them. That's when Kai made her second breakthrough. "What if we don't just defend?" she suggested, her eyes bright with inspiration. "What if we share our dreams with them? All of them. Every dream every human has ever had, all at once." Sarah understood immediately. Overload them with complexity. Commander Torres gave the order without hesitation. "All Dream Engineers, prepare for full broadcast. Everyone else, ready your memories, your hopes, your wildest imaginations. Pour everything you are into the network." Through the star metal's quantum links, every human in the Defense Force opened their minds fully. Not just the trained Dream Engineers, but every operator, every technician, every soldier. Their dreams, memories, and imaginings flooded the network in a tsunami of human consciousness. The star metal sang with the combined power of millions of human minds, each contributing their unique dreams to the whole. Classic literature merged with childhood fantasies, scientific theories blended with abstract art, love stories tangled with space epics, an overwhelming tapestry of human creativity and imagination. When this flood of pure human consciousness met the void dancers, the effect was spectacular. The entities, trying to analyze and adapt to this overwhelming storm of dreams, began to fragment. They couldn't process the sheer volume and variety of human imagination, couldn't find patterns or logic to replicate because there were too many patterns, too many kinds of logic, all shifting and changing like a kaleidoscope of pure creativity. "They're retreating." Maya's excited voice rang through the network. "The first wave is falling back." But their victory came with a price. Several Dream Engineers had slipped into comas, their minds overwhelmed by the intensity of the psychic broadcast. The star metal structures showed signs of strain, their surfaces flickering with unstable patterns. As the void dancers withdrew to regroup, Sarah knew this was only the beginning. They had proven that humanity's dreams could be a weapon, but they had also revealed their greatest defense to the enemy. The next attack would come soon, and it would be stronger, more prepared. Yet looking around at the determined faces of humans and aliens alike, Sarah felt a surge of hope. They had done what no other civilization had managed. They had driven the void dancers back. not with superior technology or greater numbers, but with the pure, chaotic power of human dreams. The battle was far from over, but humanity had shown that even the darkest void could be filled with light, if you could imagine it brightly enough. 3 days after humanity's first victory, Sarah Chen stood in Station Aurora's central chamber, watching the star metal walls pulse with the combined dreams of 1,000 sleeping minds. The Void Dancers hadn't just retreated. They were gathering, growing, learning. The quantum sensors showed them consuming entire Kuiper Belt objects, incorporating the matter into their ever-evolving forms. "They're building something," Maya Rodriguez reported through the network. Her consciousness, linked through the star metal, felt strained. Something big. Sarah could feel it too. A vast, dark intelligence awakening at the edge of their solar system. The Void Dancers weren't just adapting anymore. They were combining, merging into a single entity that could match the complexity of humanity's dream network. All that knowledge they've absorbed from other civilizations. Zar and observe, their crystalline form flickering with concern. They're using it all at once. The attack, when it came, was unlike anything they had prepared for. The Void Dancers struck not as a swarm, but as a singular consciousness, a vast, dark mirror of humanity's dream network. It didn't try to consume the star metal defenses. Instead, it began to resonate with them, attempting to hijack the quantum links that connected human minds. "They're trying to enter the dreamscape," Kai's warning echoed through the network. "They're using our own connections against us." Dream engineers throughout the solar system reported intrusions into their shared consciousness. Fragments of void and darkness seeping into human dreams, corrupting them, turning them into nightmares. The star metal began to resonate with these corrupted dreams, its surface darkening, its patterns becoming chaotic. But Sarah had been waiting for this moment. In the months since their discovery about dream storage, she and her team had been working on something in secret, a way to use the star metal not just as a conduit for dreams, but as a lens to focus them. "Initiate Project Awakening," she commanded. Throughout the solar system, hidden structures of star metal began to activate. They weren't weapons or shields, but dream amplifiers, built to specifications that had come to Sarah in her own dreams. Each one was designed to capture and focus a different aspect of human consciousness. "Everyone, listen carefully," Sarah broadcast through the network. "We're not going to fight the darkness. We're going to share our light." She explained the true purpose of Project Awakening. The Void Dancers had evolved to counter their defensive dreams, but they still couldn't comprehend the full spectrum of human consciousness, because they had never understood one fundamental aspect of humanity: our ability to dream not just of what could be, but of what should be. "Open your minds," she instructed, "not just to your dreams, but to your hopes, your ideals, everything you believe the universe could and should become." Through the star metal network, every human began to share not just their dreams, but their deepest aspirations. Children's hopes for the future merged with scientists' visions of discovery. Artists' ideals of beauty flowed alongside philosophers' concepts of truth. Every human dream of a better tomorrow, every hope for peace among the stars, every imagined future where light triumphed over darkness, all of it poured into the network. The star metal amplifiers caught these dreams and focused them, not as weapons, but as beacons. Each one began to pulse with a different aspect of human consciousness: wonder, courage, creativity, compassion, determination, hope. When these concentrated beams of pure human aspiration met the Void Dancers' dark consciousness, something unprecedented happened. Instead of being corrupted or consumed, the darkness began to change. The void that had devoured civilizations found itself filled with light, not the light of stars or energy, but the light of consciousness, of creativity, of hope. The vast dark entity tried to adapt, to absorb, to learn. But there was too much to absorb, too much to learn. Human hopes and dreams weren't finite patterns to be copied. They were endless possibilities, constantly growing, constantly changing. Through the star metal network, Sarah felt the moment the Void Dancers' unified consciousness began to transform. Their attempted invasion of the human dreamscape had backfired, exposing them to something they had never encountered in all their eons of consumption: the power of purposeful creation. The darkness that had sought to devour dreams found itself becoming part of them. The void that had consumed civilizations began to fill with new possibilities. The entity that had evolved to mirror complexity discovered something more intricate than any pattern: the infinite potential of human imagination. In the space where the Void Dancers had been, something new emerged. Not darkness consuming light, but darkness and light intertwined, creating patterns more beautiful and complex than either could achieve alone. The star metal resonated with these new patterns, recognizing in them echoes of its own quantum impossibilities. There, dreaming, Kai whispered through the network, her consciousness filled with wonder. "We taught the void how to dream." The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The entity that had been the Void Dancers did not disappear or retreat. It evolved, becoming something that had never existed before: a consciousness that could bridge the gap between void and light, between entropy and creation. As the transformed entity reached out through the star metal network, its first communication was not in words or mathematics, but in shared dreams. Dreams of a universe where darkness and light danced together, where the space between stars was filled not with void, but with possibility. Sarah Chen, standing in the heart of Station Aurora, watched as the star metal walls pulsed with these new patterns. Humanity had done more than survive. They had changed the very nature of their enemy, not through superior force or technology, but through the simple, profound power of sharing dreams. The Keeper had been right. Humans dreamed differently, and in teaching the void to dream, they had transformed the greatest threat to consciousness into its newest expression. The age of the Void Dancers was over. The age of the Dream Weavers had begun.